So it's August 15th. My friend Larry and I headed down to Windrock Park in Oliver Springs, Tennessee, just about 2.5 hours from home, for the annual hill climbing championships. Polaris sponsors them this year, and it's pretty exciting. So anyway, we drove down this morning, left about 7 in the morning, got in, got everything set up with the camper, and went to open the trailer to bring out the RZR, and the door was locked. And turns out that I left the key to the padlock at home. And so I'm thinking, great, what do we do? There's nobody really here. So I called the campground office, and they said, we'll send maintenance down. He came down with a really small bolt cutter. I said, that is not going to cut through this big master lock. Don't you have like a Sawzall, a battery-powered Sawzall or a grinder? He said, I don't know, I'll have to check. So he left, and a guy comes down in obviously a machine that he's going to compete in, one of the single-seat, high-performance new RZRs. I don't remember what the model number is, but his girlfriend was sitting on his lap, and he came down and he stopped, and no one else is around, and he said, do you know the combination to the bathroom? And we gave him the combination. I guess his girlfriend wanted to take a shower, and he said, you guys have a problem? And I'm like, yeah. I said, we can't get in. I said, you know, we're trying to figure out how to get through this padlock. He said, well, he goes, I have a Sawzall, a battery-powered Sawzall, I got a grinder. Let me run and go get it. So he goes and gets it, brings it back. Larry's cutting through the padlock with the Sawzall, and all of a sudden the battery dies, and he's about a 1/16 of an inch, roughly 1/8 of an inch from getting all the way through it. So he said, this other guy that came down to help us, his name was Cody, he said, he said, you have an extension cord? I said, no, I don't. He says, oh, I've got one. I'll go back to my trailer. I've got a 50-foot trailer with a TIG welder and a MIG welder, and he said, I'll bring down an extension cord, and we'll cut through it with the grinder. So he brought it down, we cut through the lock, got it open so we could get the RZR out. And I said to him, I said, what's your name? And he said, my name is Cody. And I said, so you're a competitor? He said, yeah. And I said, what do you race? He says, well, primarily the survival race. And I said, man, that's crazy. And he said, yeah. He says, I was in Florida with my rig getting it set up. And he says, then I drove to Utah to have the turbo tuned. Then I drove back to Florida, then to North Carolina. Now I'm here. And I'm like, man, oh man. I said, do you do this for a living? He said, well, I hope to, but he says, I only made about $13,000 last year, so not enough to live on. He's got to have some other way to make some money. And I said, well, listen, I really appreciate you stopping by. You are a gift from God today, because we had no way to open this thing up, no way to go anywhere. And I said, would it be okay if I shared something with you and prayed with you? And he goes, oh, yeah, that'd be great. So I gave him one of our off-road Gospels of John with the plan of salvation in it. I also gave him a bridge tract and said, you know, share this with your girlfriend. I talked him through, you know, we're all going to die someday, and you don't want to go to hell. This is going to explain what you need to do so that when you die, you go to heaven. And then Larry and I laid hands on him. We prayed for his safety, prayed for his machine to do really well. He said he's got like $40,000 into this machine. And I prayed that he'd even win the race. And so it was a great way to start the day. Then Larry and I went on the trails. We met another guy from Georgia, had a nice conversation with him. And so we'll keep you posted on what's going on, but it's been a great start. Continuing with August 15th, the big, huge rig that you see in this picture here pulled in like diagonally across from us. And turns out that the guy that's in it, his name is Brandon Davis. I was behind him last year at the wash and was able to share the gospel with him and give him some gospel literature. And lo and behold, the one guy that I spent a lot of time with last year ends up pulling in right across from us, which is very cool. So he came over, met his wife. Boy, he's got some expensive machines in the back of that trailer, 3 of them in the trailer. He said the whole rig is like 80 feet long. It weighs over 50,000 pounds. Quite a setup. Anyway, he came over. We have some air conditioner problems. We don't have air working, so he came over and climbed up on the roof and looked at the air conditioner to see if he could help. And unfortunately, he can't. So tonight it'll be fans in the windows, and hopefully the temperature will drop enough that it'll be comfortable. But we look forward to seeing who we'll get to share with tomorrow.